Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. So WWE's quiet culling of the roster continues this week as following in the wake of the news of Lars Sullivan being given his marching orders that came out on Wednesday, WWE announced yesterday that they have released former Forgotten Sons star Steve Cutler. Now the official statement from the E read that WWE has come to terms on the release of Steve Cutler. We wish him the best in all of his future endeavours. Now after the Forgotten Sons were wiped from living memory following controversial comments made by Jackson Riker on Twitter, Cutler and tag team partner Wesley Blake returned to TV late last year as part of Baron Corbin's Knights of the Lone Wolf faction, which, if you think about it for more than a couple of seconds, doesn't actually make any sense. What is he? Is he a lone wolf or does he have friends? The Viking experience. Cutler's release apparently came as a shock to him as he tweeted, "Unfortunately today, I was released. It was shocking to say the least, but I am excited about the future and all the possibilities in front of me. Thanks for your continued support. 90 days. The countdown begins." Beer emoji. Beer emoji. Clink clink. Now another thing to note in amongst all of this is that Cutler's girlfriend is Impact Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo, who revealed yesterday that she and Cutler had tested positive for COVID-19 in January. She said that they had had no symptoms but took all the necessary precautions. This would obviously explain Cutler's TV absence throughout January, but it doesn't explain the reported heat that Cutler got with Vince for contracting the coronavirus. Now, according to Fightful, there's backstage belief that Cutler's positive test and time off TV could be what led to his release. Now, this might be me being crazy, but it'd be pretty harsh to release someone for contracting a virus that is so contagious that all medical advice is to stay home. And he got it apparently at work, where the job involves rubbing up on other people. It's kind of extreme and unfair, so maybe there's more to this story and situation that hasn't exactly come to light just yet. We'll wait and see. So with Cutler gone from WWE, Wesley Blake is now down a tag team partner again. And according to reports, his former tag team partner, the one from before Cutler, isn't doing so great either. Because Mysterio, Lothario, Buddy Murphy emerged into the upper mid-card in 2020 as part of Seth Rollins' cult, moved to Smackdown, and sort of just dropped off the face of the earth. Now, according to a report from Ringside News, yes, Murphy is still employed on the roster and has been showing up to every single taping of Smacky D, but we've been asking about Murphy's status since he vanished from television. We were told that, like Bo Dallas, Murphy has been around backstage. They just don't have anything for him and he's not being used. No word on what's going on with the romantic angle that they left in limbo. So Murphy basically disappeared from TV when Seth Rollins left to take time off for the birth of his daughter, so there's potential that WWE are just waiting for Seth to return to TV in order to bring Murphy back. I'm guessing he's just been ghosting Aaliyah Mysterio in the meantime. I think it's also worth remembering that not having anything for a wrestler to do in a wrestling company is kind of like that bit when the self-service checkouts say unexpected item in the bagging area when it's a bag you brought from home. What do you mean? How could you not expect? It's what this area is designed for. I mean, all you do is wrestling, so you should have had a wrestling thing for him to do. You also do talk shows. So many weird talk shows. Thank you for your support on Patreon, The Cleaner, Kenny Shah, and WrestleTalk's personal ring announcer, Rodrigo Benitez. Now, I think the fear for stars being underutilized by WWE at any one time is that there's always constantly this influx of new talent from NXT and WWE just generally scouting around on the indie scene, trying to buy up everyone before AEW gets their grubby little bits on them. So for someone like Murphy, not being used right now could potentially be pretty anxiety-inducing, especially when you hear tell of the WWE already writing a shopping list for more NXT names, and on top of that list is Mr. Karrion Kross. Now, it's been known for a while that officials are high on him, and before he even came into WWE, Triple H was teasing some sort of fast track for him, and he certainly hop, skipped and jumped his way into an NXT Championship win before an injury sustained in the match sidelined him. Now, on Wrestling Observer Radio, it's been reiterated that the plan is for Kross to hit the main roster sooner rather than later, but first he has to get through his NXT run. Now, whether that means circling back to try for the championship or completing his current feud with Santos Escobar or even having the match with Edge they teased on Wednesday's show remains to be seen, but expect Karrion Kross on the main roster before the end of this year, for sure. In other interesting news, WWE held one of its quarterly earnings calls yesterday and offered a full earnings report for 2020 that showed that despite the global pandemic, they made a total annual revenue of $974.2 million. That is an increase of 1% from last year, and their operating income was up 79% to $208.6 million. Big numbers, I don't know what they mean. And this is all despite the fact that for the fourth quarter of 2020, their revenue was actually down 26% due to the lack of a Saudi Arabia show and live ticketed events, of course. So it's almost as if all of those preemptive layoffs from April last year weren't entirely necessary, especially with WWE having $500 million in cash reserves at the time, and especially as next year the value of WWE products and licensing is likely to go up thanks to the Peacock deal. And also with all of that comes an even greater reach in terms of viewers, and therefore more people hopefully buying merchandise, shows, etc. The layoffs back in April were couched as cost-saving tactics by Chief Financial Officer Christina Salem. This was all done to offset the losses incurred from a lack of live ticketed events, which I think it's worth pointing out hasn't actually affected the numbers' ability to go up. I'm not an accountant, but 1% more revenue is still $13 million. But that is small potatoes in a world in which growth is expected exponentially, and it looks like WWE are shoring up for the same again for the first part of 2021 by saying that they are not expecting to return to live event touring until at least the second half of the year. Now, whether that means we'll get the same cost-saving exercises in April and another round of layoffs to go with it remains to be seen. You may remember, it wasn't really big news or anything, but Edge made his triumphant return to WWE in the Royal Rumble last year. And this year, his current best friend, and former tag team partner Christian managed the same feat, with both wrestlers having been retired for years prior, Edge with his neck issues and Christian with a history of concussions. Now, the two men shared a tender moment in the ring at this year's Rumble, hugging it out, symbolizing their respective journeys to get back in the ring. Edge, presumably then fueled by the power of love, would go on to win the match, securing his spot fighting for a world title at WrestleMania 10 years after the last time he did so at WrestleMania 27. I did this for you, Christian. You're annoyed that I didn't help more when you were getting chucked out. Righto. Yep. Nope. Fair, you got to be banged to rights. But the moment Edge and Christian hugged in this year's Royal Rumble wasn't enough of a reunion, according to Edge, as presumably, once his WrestleMania feud is done and dusted, he wants one more tag team run with Christian, as revealed in an interview with the Metro. He said, "I would love it. I think at some point that would need to happen just because there's so many opportunities there between Edge and Christian against the Usos. I mean, man, Edge and Christian against the New Day, Edge and Christian against Ziggler and Rude, Edge and Christian versus the Street Profits. Not for nothing, Edge and Christian versus Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. There's some stuff there. Not for nothing, eh? Some stuff there, building off of a storyline we may have already seen by that point." Going to challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, isn't he? Now, those are certainly some mouth-watering matchups and would definitely add a little prestige to the WWE tag division, which has been infamously floundering for a few years now. But even Edge couldn't save NXT in this week's ratings, as they were competing against AEW's special Beach Break episode of Dynamite. Dynamite was headlined by Kenny Omega, Gallows and Anderson versus Jon Moxley, Pac and Phoenix, and managed to draw an average of 844,000 viewers, which is up 110,000 from the previous week. While NXT, which saw Edge appear to chat to Finn Balor and Pete Dunne, be confronted by Karrion Kross, and was headlined by the Undisputed Era versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, only managed 610,000 viewers, a decrease of over 100,000. I'm on the show that does poorly. AEW managed a 0.32 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, while NXT could only manage a 0.15. Someone please explain what that means. And it was that closing angle from Dynamite with Kenta debuting in the promotion that has set up a huge match for next week's show. Because in a post-match promo, Kenny Omega asked Tony Khan to make a tag match between himself and Kenta versus Jon Moxley and Lance Archer, which has now been made official for next week's Dynamite, with a Falls Count Anywhere and an anything goes stipulation added in on top. Yes, please! Following Steve Cutler's release, find out more about Lars Sullivan's release and the reasons for it by pressing the video to the right, and press the video below that to watch Ollie and Luke's review of this week's AEW Dynamite over on the brand new WrestleTalk podcast channel. Subscribe here for daily wrestling news videos. I have been El Fakador Laurie Blake. You jam that jampion. Jam that jam. Jammity jammity jam jam. Jammy jam, the jamp is here.